swimming the forbidden zone. They were captured by the shrewdness of apes. But what the hell is the shrewdness of apes? And why is Taylor wearing a man frock and singing City looks like Fraggle Rock? Dennis Chambers did the info, Mr. Spot. This is just the fact we try not to mock on. The minute of the apes. 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 Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Thursday's Minute of the Apes podcast, the podcast where we break down every damn dirty minute of the Planet of the Apes movies. I'm your host, Sean, and join me as always are my co-host, Todd, and our new co-host, Richard. What's up, guys?
Hey, Sean.
Hi, new co-host.
Happy Thursday.
We're getting close
Is
to
it
the end of the
Thursday?
week.
Are we sure it's Thursday this time?
Well, hang on. Let me check my beer. Yeah, the bottom says Thursday. All right.
Let me
All
check. Wait. I'm wearing my
You wear your
Thursday
Thursday
pants.
underwear? Okay.
Yes.
You've turned Tuesdays inside out. Now
Yeah.
Thank God the mailman wasn't walking in because Richard did just get up and check out his underwear.
All right, so we're going to start minute 49 with Zira saying Taylor and ends with Cornelius saying, uh-huh. And as of minute 49, we got 2 living humans, 2 dead humans, a shrewdness of apes, and a gaggle of humanoids.
So I have a question here. She just had the pad of paper. She just asked, "You wouldn't hurt me, would you, Taylor?" And we now know where she's taking him. But my question is, I know where they've gone because of the script, and it makes sense. But I don't think they ever actually say where they're at. Do
No.
you
They
guys
don't.
know where they're at?
No.
As a matter of fact, right before we get to that, I think, and we were talking about this a little bit in the last minute about shooting Taylor from below.
Angles and all that.
The fact that Taylor's been in 2 fights in 4 minutes, plus getting burned and all, getting beat by a billy club and all that, he really looks like a smug asshole when Zero calls him by his name, doesn't he?
Yeah, that is the worst case of Charlton Heston acting that you'll ever get because it's...
Hey, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Hey,
But it does bring in something that I don't think there's any way to hide the intent, at least the actors had. There's a sexual tension between Zira and Taylor. Because I even think in the moments when she's like, "You wouldn't hurt me, would you?" And what you said, Richard, about how she walks into him. You can go watch Discovery and you can talk about mating rituals and whatnot, but, the idea of the submissive nature of it, there's something here. And then when we get to this moment, she's petting his hand.
She is petting his hand.
And it's not just, it's like a, "Hi, baby."
Yeah, no, it was a very... But I do have a question. In the last minute, you did speculate that Julius and Zero might be having an affair.
I was about to say, so you're shipping twice now. You're going Zero and Julius, and now Zero and Taylor.
I'm just going to tell you, I love romance.
I'm
I
waiting
want
for
it mixed in
Zero.
here.
You are writing the Zero fanfic. I know you are.
Done.
I'm going to have to go
Done.
find it.
Can I sell it here at Zeus if I do that?
Zero's World, starring everybody.
But actors, directors will try to bring in that subtext a lot of the time, even if it's not meant to be there. I just have this feeling that somebody said to them, "Listen, you two now have a bond. You two are the only 2 people in this crazy world that are speaking the same language." And I don't mean just English. You've connected.
They understand each
And
other.
she has affection for him. You don't pet somebody the way she's petting without affection.
You don't give somebody a female just to have fun with unless that's your
She
favorite toy.
was kind of titillated
Favorite
by
pet,
the idea
yeah.
of putting an unnamed savage woman in his cage. Like, here's a present for you.
Woo-hoo,
I want to
here's
watch
your
these
sassy.
mating rituals.
Right.
But we really only have two women on this cast.
Yeah.
True.
Unnamed savage woman and
Zira.
Zira. And so
Well, technically, we did have Stuart.
Oh.
But
We
she
had
never
Stuart,
really
but
joined us.
Hang on. A moment of silence for Stuart.
Okay, we're done.
Okay.
But we never really had Stuart, right? And
No, we didn't.
No, Taylor. I'm
They
sure
won't-
Taylor wanted to, but no, we never had Stuart.
but other than some, well, I guess we can't talk about that yet either. So
Hang on. Those are the neutering moments of you can't think ahead. So the rules again, if you're jumping in on this Thursday edition.
I have
at
not
this
watched
point,
the
we've
movie.
only had Unnamed Savage Woman and Zira
And Stuart.
who we'd never really had.
No.
So
she was mummified
when
from
you
the
have
beginning.
when you have your big box office star like Charlton Heston, who likes to be suave and sexy. Everything's going to be some type of sexual tension with him, right?
Hey, hairy lady.
Yeah.
Everything's coming up Taylor.
Gross.
So can I just tell you where they're at, just based upon the script?
Yeah. So
please
she
do.
says, "Take us away," and we don't know where. So from real quick before you tell us where, we're going to talk about where we think.
Where do you think they
'Cause
are?
It looks like they take him into. I'm going to say an office because there's nothing personal in there.
No.
Like against the wall next to the door, it looks like there are collars or leashes.
Yeah, I can't
kinda
figure out what
hanging
that
there.
is.
They've got some,
It's a weird coat hanger looking thing.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
It's very
but
odd, and I spent 2 or 3 minutes looking at it. I thought I can't
I
figure
don't
out
know
what
what that's
it is.
supposed to be. Yeah, just like some strings or ropes or leather hanging against the
And
wall.
it's very. God, I'm going to say it again, but it's so flatly lit that even makes it look more like an office. It's just this very generic. You walk in, there are 3 windows behind them. Here's a door that looks like it's out of the Flintstones.
Yeah. Here's a weird table.
Well,
like
and
this.
there's kind of a bench like couch thing. Of course, a lot of the furniture is kind of carved into this room, right?
Yeah.
If there's a freestanding desk that Taylor and Zero are sitting at, Cornelius he's the first thing we see in this room. It's Cornelius,
Right.
and they have a shelf behind him with various things and artifacts and stuff like that. And there's kind of a bench carved into the wall, and there's a giant bone on it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the
why
bone
is
is
there a
like-
bone? Was it Flintstones? Like, what's going on here?
Was he gnawing on it, or is that his latest archaeological find?
That's the
And
ribeye
that's-
that they put on
that's
the side
true.
of the
And
chair
that's it.
that flips the
Maybe
car
that's
over.
what we're supposed to pick up on it, because the script says we're in Cornelius' offices.
Okay, so it's Cornelius' office. All right.
And it does make sense. She's taken him to somewhere, and she's going to take it to
And
her
that's gotta be-
greatest confidant, who's
Besides her
Cornelius.
office, probably the most private place you can go to.
Well, and is that what she does? She think that his office is safe, or is she trying to convince Cornelius?
Yes and yes.
I think both those. I think safe and yes. Hey, Cornelius, look at what I just saw. He wrote an actual sentence. It made sense.
I need you to
Check this
believe
out.
this for me. So so they bring him in there,
And the first thing that happens is Cornelius dismisses it. As he's watching him writing stuff,
It's a trick.
Well, he's got Cornelius has like a giant stack of papers
Of stuff that he's been writing
we
over and
open on
over.
him just leafing through papers. So Taylor's been fairly prolific in like the couple of minutes
He's been the Stephen King, Charles Dickens of this
he wrote a little
world.
War and Peace there, right?
So
there.
so he's
Exactly.
been writing like crazy, and Cornelius says it's a stunt. Humans don't write, even though he's watching him write these
doing
things in
it
front of him.
over and making coherent sentences.
I know that in any scene you need to have the point counterpoint. You need to have people at opposition with each other. If you have people agreeing, you get the prequels of Star Wars. That's crap. You
Yeah.
want people who disagree. You want reasons for it. His disagreements make no sense when you consider what he's supposed to be doing. At least the information we've been getting up to now is he's going on archaeological finds. He wants
He's
to
been
discover
searching for
something.
something. Yeah.
If I don't care what I've been searching for. If I find that, I'm like, holy shit, this is what I've been
right
looking
in front of
Yes.
him. It's
Hell, it
right
might
in
even
front of
deviate
him.
from my narrative. My
Right.
narrative might have been looking for humans that spoke Spanish or did something else, and all of a sudden I find humans that speak English.
Right.
Holy crap!
Exactly.
So he says it's not humans don't write.
Meanwhile,
I love this little line. that
literally
Zero-
after you watch him write.
I love this
Yeah.
line that Zero delivers. Dear, you're a scientist. Don't you believe your eyes? And I'm like, scientists don't look at things and just assume that.
Right.
Like, they don't use their eyes. They use methods and
That'd be the
testing and so
scientist
on. Yeah.
That'd be the scientist that sees me go, "Hey, do you see this penny? It's gone now." And goes, "He is a wizard.
magic."
I just saw him disappear it."
Exactly.
Oh, bow to the
just
magician.
it was a weird that those two sentences kind of juxtaposed together. You're
That
a
is
scientist,
weird.
don't you believe your own eyes? Was kind of ridiculous. But we get kind of a little bit of back and forth here, and I think that's what's relevant is this is a way of pulling information out of Taylor without him just them reading.
That's a good point.
Reading all the information to
That's a
them.
good point. And he's already been at this. We see the stack of papers Cornelius has. They've been going at it. He's trying to convince him.
Switch him over to the side. Yeah.
And Roddy McDowell, has possibly one of the greatest moments at this point too with the makeup so far.
He's
Anybody
really good acting in it. Yeah.
when there's the moment when he says Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he's rolling his jaw from side to side, which makes it almost like he's thinking. And you can, but if
Like he's pursing his lips and
if you focus on his jaw, you can see what he's doing.
yeah.
But you're not going to do that the first time you watch this. You're just not going to.
So
And it's great.
What I want to know is, speaking of that exact scene, where do you learn to talk? What would it take to convince Cornelius of anything? Because he literally says, "I learned to talk in this school in Fort Wayne, Indiana," and he's reading it as he's written it to him, and he going,
Well, I wonder though. If they talk about public schools, do apes have public schools? I mean, is that
As of this point, I don't know.
Yeah. So she says, "Don't you believe your own eyes?" And Cornelius then accusingly turns to Taylor. Where did you learn to do this? Mm-hmm. Like he didn't just learn how to like pick a piece of paper and a pen and write. Now he's learning how to actually write in ape language. Yeah.
I thought it would have been interesting too, because I found it odd that Taylor's just completely given up on speech at this point too. He knows he can write. He's gotten someone to read his missives. Mm-hmm. He doesn't even make a hoarse, like wanting to talk. In these moments,
or even writing down, I can talk. My throat is just screwed up right now. Give me a little more time to get healed, and I will then talk your ear off because I'm going to be writing this short novel. I'm just seeing how long you can let me talk before you interrupt me, Todd. I'm just going.
I was really watching you to see if you'd keep going. Okay, to be fair, we don't know that he didn't write that in all the stack of papers. But I find it odd. So when he's dismissive of the writing, that it's a stunt. Mm-hmm. If at that time, if you compound that with the, at least trying, Cornelius can be dismissive and saying, "Oh, he's pretending to talk," but still, I just find it very odd that Taylor is this passive character again. He's suddenly got the power in the world, and he's not throwing a fit, doing something to get the attention to say, "No, this isn't a stunt."
It was just, where did you learn to do this? And he just becomes a smart ass.
Or, I mean,
right?
seriously.
Jefferson Public School, Fort Wayne, Indiana, that he gives, that Cornelius then reads. And I'm like, you're trying to convince this man of truth, and you're giving him something that he doesn't even understand what it is.
Right.
Why would Cornelius know what a Jefferson Public School, Fort Wayne, Indiana is?
Or why
would that even make any sense?
And why is that even germane to the conversation?
Those are just words.
Exactly.
Or why isn't Taylor just coming back at him and going, "Well, this is not going to happen. It's a stunt," and then writing down, "It's not a stunt. I can understand what you're saying." Like literally having a conversation with him to say,
right.
"I can converse with you. Quit saying I'm a freak or a magic trick or something like that."
It's the weirdness of that there is no cohesiveness to the argument back and forth between the two, and it makes me wonder with all the iterations of the script we got from the various screenwriters, if these weren't parts of, "Oh, I like this, I'm going to write this in." And you'll find that sometimes, even with new films that come out where it has a tonal shift. So I kind of wonder if the scene wasn't hacked and whacked a little bit.
Possibly, but when Cornelius says Jefferson Public School, Fort Wayne, Indiana, kind of doubtingly, he replies back to Taylor, "Back on that planet you say you came from." So Taylor has now basically put out there to Cornelius that he's from another planet.
Yeah.
Not from this planet of the apes.
And then what does Taylor do? He just sort of passively nods. From this planet you come from? Yes. If anything, I'm slamming my fist on that table. I'm like slapping hands together. I'm trying to make noises.
Why doesn't he just start drawing star charts and stuff like that? He's an astronaut. Why you not draw the sun, the Earth, all the planets and their rotations, and show him I know more than you think I know, and see if he understands any of that stuff. Start doing multiplication tables. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Anything that proves that
math
you're
is
smarter,
the universal language.
Yeah.
So here's a question at this point, not dialing ahead to other minutes. Sean is watching these minutes by minute, so he doesn't know the future minutes.
I know no future.
Cornelius replies to him sarcastically, "Back on that planet you say you came from." So, do they not believe in
Other
aliens or planets or anything outside of it? Like, Taylor's trying to make himself something otherworldly. He's trying to set him apart from the other humans by giving a backstory that's bigger than where he's at this moment, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We've seen a city, not necessarily the biggest city in the world, but a city that they brought him in through. We've seen the fields where they hunt. We've seen where Taylor crashed. For all we know, they don't know of not even just a bigger world, but the fact that the world is something that you can get off of, and there are other things.
There's anything to go to, because the closest that I can think of shots that would ever tell you that, and Richard, this is before you joined us, but back in the very beginning, walking across the desert, there's that shot where it goes to the negative exposure real quick, like lightning.
Flashing,
That's about the only time I can think of that
like
100% shows
a world somehow.
Yeah, that shows a sky where can we see any stars or moon or anything? And there are a couple of other shots.
We haven't had a night sky to show us.
But regardless, there's a sun. We know that because we saw the setting sun.